ever had the term Indonesian law is sharp of the bottom and blood at the top? Or do you know about this case? Or this news? Well, do you think that's why this happens because of weak law enforcement and inequitable development as well as other discriminatory practices that still occur in the administration of minority rights in Indonesia? Cases of injustice that befall the poor are in stark contrast to rampant corruption cases, few of which are investigated. This shows the weakness of law enforcement in Indonesia. After this, I will ask our friends. How are you guys?
I'm
Fine. Well, you must have heard to know about legal inequality. Why do you think the Indonesian people often consider the law to be blunt towards those at the top and sharp towards those at the bottom? Group A can answer first, please.
Here we as Group A cannot say this is wrong because it is the reality. The law of bluntness at the top and sharpness at the bottom is very much applicable to the lower middle class, but the law does not apply and can even be broke by the upper class or influenced people. This is a bad game played by the upper class or influencer people.
According to research, vulnerable and poor communities are the most susceptible groups and often become victims of legal injustice. However, the reality is the justice is more often served to communities that have access to economic and political power.
Oh, so your group does not deny the existence of legal inequality.
Yes, because there are definitely many reasons for that. Usually, it is often to maintaining power.
If you are from Group B, what do you think about the legal terms sharp downward and blunt upward?
Although Indonesian law is based on Article 28D, Paragraph 1 of the 1945 Constitution, which guarantees the right to fair legal certainty and equal treatment before the law and aims to protect and defend the community. The reality on the ground shows that three are demonstrations: law enforcement agencies consisting of the prosecutor's office, the police, and the judiciary often make subjective decisions based on which group is dominant and benefits most from the case.
You know that this practice is now common, that legal discussions are heavily influenced by law and from government officials themselves, often undermining substantive justice, especially for poor and vulnerable communities. This is the basis for discussing law enforcement in Indonesia, which is now as blunt at the top and sharp at the bottom.
Next, there is the case of Grandma Asiani, who was convicted of stealing 7 thick pounds belonging to Britani in 2015. Many have comparing this case to the punishment of corruption perpetrators, considering it's a portrait of legal injustice. In your opinion, is this legal injustice relate to the political elite?
In our opinion, there is indeed a connection with the political elite. Facts on the ground show that punishment in certain cases are often disproportionate. Corruption perpetrators, for example, often have connection with the political elite that make it easier for them to negotiate or even obtain acquittal by offering rewards. As a result, cases can be manipulated in such a way, and this cannot be separated from the personal interest of each group involved.
That's right. They can get a sentence as they please.
We also believe that there is a connection between the interests of the individual and group which inevitably influence the way the law is applied and exploited by those who have interest in gaining power. However, we cannot blame the political elite and treat it according to several studies we have read. There are a number of factors that cause law enforcement to be disproportionate to the crimes community.
Okay, thank you. So there are several factors, such as first, factors within the substance of the law itself. Second, factors from the legal culture of law enforcement officials, starting from the judicial system that is implemented, the legal apparatus, and the inconsistency of law enforcement. The lack of moral sense has led to a decline in professionalism and a lack of empathy among law enforcement officials.
Oh, so you think that besides the connection with the political elite, there are also several internal factors.
Yes.
So, after you explain your opinion, can the legal inequality that is tied to the balloon L at the top and sharp on the bottom in Indonesia be eliminated, then what action can be taken?
It may not be possible to eliminate it completely, but it can be reduced somewhat through structural reform of the law enforcement, digitization of the judicial system, strengthening of supervision institution, improvement of the elite of official and community and media participation in social control.
The government also needs to carry our institutional reforms, strengthen the digitization of the legal system, and improve the transparency and performance of supervisory agencies. Law enforcement officials must strictly enforce the code of ethics and improve integrity education, such as the role of society through legal literacy, case reporting, and support of legal aid institutions.
Okay, what about Group B?
In our opinion, legal inequality in Indonesia can indeed be eliminated, but it requires a long process and considerable time. The current political situation in Indonesia is still unstable, which has an impact on the weakness of the legal system. From the government's perspective, the steps that can be taken are to enforce the law firmly and consistently, not arbitrarily, and to ensure that the selection process for law enforcement officials is conducted in a clean, transparent manner and in accordance with the applicable terms and conditions, far from personal interests.
Law enforcement officials must also be able to reject all form of bribery or intervention for personal gains, so that justice can be upheld equally.
Okay, thank you. Your answer are very helpful to me and perhaps to viewers who are still confusion about legal injustice and the term sharp law for the lower classes, blood law for the upper classes in Indonesia. From the previous discussion, we can see that the term blood law at the top and sharp at the bottom did not arise without reason. Both the pro and contra group agree that legal inequality in Indonesia does exist and is experienced by many people, especially those and economically disadvantaged group. The group A emphasizes that this injustice arises not only because of the influence of the political elite, but also because of the weakness of the substance of the law, the poor culture of the apparatus, and the law integrity and professionalism of a law enforcement common officials. Meanwhile, the group B highlight the strong interference of the political elite at the tendency of law enforcement common officials of make objective and inconsistent decision, so that the ruling group often receives like treatment. Although the two groups have different opinion, one thing is clear: legal inequality can be reduced if there is a shared commitment. This starts with structural reform, digitization of the judicial system, increased transparency, strengthening of supervisory institution, and the active role of the community is overseeing the legal process. With continued effort, it is happen that the law in Indonesia can be enforced more fairly and quality regardless of social status or power.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let me introduce myself. I am Erin Fitria Akari from the Faculty of Political Science. Here I am as a representative of Group 4 to interview our resource person who is from the Faculty of Law. You may introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you in advance. My name is Tigar Pramudia. I am from the Faculty of Law, Brawijaya University, class of 2025.
Straight to the question. Here, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Just answer them casually, okay? Why do you think the law is often considered sharp at the bottom and blunt at the top, especially in Indonesia?
Good question. Why law is blunt at the top, especially in Indonesia? So here's the thing, people see it that way because the law-making process in Indonesia is heavily influenced by political interests. Laws are made by the president and the parliament DPR, and the DPR itself is elected through a political process full of loopholes, including practices like Serangan Fayar, basically vote buying. As a result, the laws that come out often reflect the interests of political groups rather than the needs of the public. For example, in the anti-corruption law, it says that corruptors may be sentenced to death. But since the word used is may, the punishment becomes optional and is never actually applied. This creates legal loopholes that benefit those in power. Meanwhile, in countries like China, the death penalty for corruption is strictly enforced. That shows how Indonesia's legal system can be shaped to suit political interests.
Earlier you mentioned a bit about corruption. In Indonesia, there are cases where punishments don't really match the actions. For example, an old woman stealing firewood compared to big corruption cases. So do you think this has anything to do with the political elites?
In my opinion, that gap in punishment really does have something to do with political elites. People in power usually have strong networks, connections with law enforcers, and the money to make their legal cases lighter or even influence the process. Meanwhile, ordinary folks don't have legal access, financial strength, or support, so they're more vulnerable to harsher sentences.
Last question. Do you think the legal inequality in Indonesia, lenient toward the powerful but harsh toward ordinary people, can actually be eliminated? And what actions can be taken by each side to make that happen?
Honestly, getting rid of this legal inequality is super hard because the root of the problem comes from a system that's been shaped by political interests for a long time. As long as laws can still be influenced by power, political factions, and group agendas, it's tough to expect truly fair law enforcement. So it's not just about individuals, it's a systemic issue built into how laws are made and applied. But that doesn't mean change is impossible. Things could get better if the government is willing to seriously reform the legal system, set clearer boundaries on political influence, and make sure lawmaking isn't dominated by political agendas. With structural reforms and more balanced mechanisms, the chances of building a fair legal system would definitely be stronger.
Thank you so much for making time for this interview.